Hey, what's up everyone? Paul from Grindhouse Funhouse. Over on my other channel, GF Archives, the trailer I uploaded for 1968, They Came to Rob Las Vegas, starring Gary Lockwood, Elke Sommer, Cobb and Jack Palance, is my most watched video at 27,000 views. I mean, seeing that view count made me curious to check out what all the fuss was about, so I gave it a shot. And as far as late 60s Euro movies goes, so what is They Came to Rob Las Vegas about? It's about Tony, a casino blackjack dealer played by Gary Lockwood, who hatches a complex plan to rob an armored car carrying $7 million in casino money, which is about 65 million in today's dollars. He enlists the help of criminal associates of his late mentor killed during an earlier failed robbery, as well as his beautiful girlfriend Anne, played by Elke Sommer, who just so happens to be the personal secretary and mistress of the armored car company owner, Steve Skorsky, played by Cobb, a man with deep mafia ties. There's also an ambitious US Treasury Department investigator played by Jack Palance, who's tracking the armored car, suspecting it's being used to launder unreported profits from organized crime. Will the robbery go off without a hitch, or will everything go tits up, as these movies tend to go? Casino heist movies, or heist movies in general, were a big thing in the 60s, the most famous ones being, of course, Ocean's 11 and The Italian Job. And on the exploitation front, who can forget Machine Gun, starring John Cassavetes? They Came to Rob Las Vegas was directed by Spanish filmmaker Antonio Isari Isamendi, originally titled Las Vegas 500 Millones, based on the French novel Les Hommes de Las Vegas by André Lay. It was an international co-production between France, Italy, Spain, and West Germany. But does all of that make it good? I mean, that very cool poster promises a lot, and the movie does deliver on some fronts. For Tony, his main motivation is the money, of course, but also proving to himself and his dead mentor that he's capable of breaking into the most secure armored truck on planet Earth, guarded by armed security, controlled by computer-routed paths, and monitored by a constant live video feed between the trucks and the headquarters.
Hi, beautiful.
Hi, Joe. Everything okay?
Everything okay?
It looks so real, I was almost fooled. I mean, it's wild seeing what passed for cutting-edge security back then, especially compared to today. It feels downright quaint. His mentor ended up dead because at the beginning of the movie, when he tried to coax Tony into robbing one of those trucks, Tony said no, so they went ahead without him and everyone got killed for their trouble. And by the way, I love those cool 50s posters you can spot in the background during the shootout. To get to that truck, Tony needs the help of the lovely Anne, played by Elke Sommer, who gives him all the intel he needs to pull it off. And on top of that, you've got Jack Palance playing a good guy in this one, chasing down Skorsky, the security company founder played by Cobb, trying to expose his cozy little relationship with the mafia, the same mob whose cash is cruising around in those armored trucks. But let's be honest, the main draw here is the heist itself and the sneaky as hell way they cover their tracks. It's legitimately clever, and no, I'm not gonna spoil it, it's one of the few surprises the movie has, and the trailer doesn't give it away. Everything goes smooth at first, but then the gang starts eating itself alive. Power plays, paranoia, and one dude named Cooper by Fabrizio Capucci, who is so irritating, he deserves to die 1,000 cinematic deaths. So for the rest of the movie, it's them trying to break into the truck itself while staying hidden from the cops, the treasury, Skorsky, and the mob, all trying to track it down. Gary Lockwood playing Tony Vincenzo, who that same year played Dr. Poole in 2001: A Space Odyssey, and a year later appeared in the cult classic Model Shop, plays it here like a hippie anti-hero type, but kind of boring. Nothing really pops from him. His character doesn't have much of a personality. You're not really rooting for him. This is the kind of part where you needed an actor who oozed charisma. Certainly wasn't him. Even though Elke Sommer is easy on the eyes, sure, she wasn't able to do much with her character besides being eye candy. She doesn't have any of chemistry with Lockwood and remains pretty expressionless throughout the movie. Cobb here is just playing Cobb. Jack Palance is great in this. He's playing the good guy for once, a straight arrow treasury agent. And I don't know how many good guys he's played in his career, but I definitely wanted more. I've always seen Jack Palance as an old, obviously because I first knew him through Batman '89 and the City Slickers as a kid, but he even looks old here, and he's my age right now in this movie. Crazy. I think this probably comes up a lot when talking about this movie, and it's the same for me, is that it's a great time capsule, especially as a late 60s period piece. From the clothes to the cars, like Lockwood's Mustang he drives around and all the other beautiful rides, The Vegas Strip at night, even though I believe that was stock footage. So many stunning desert vistas shot by cinematographer Juan Gelpi. Fun fact, the Las Vegas, Nevada desert scenes were actually filmed in the Almerian Desert of Spain. I'm also really digging the score by George Garverance. It has a very Euro lounge feel and does a lot of heavy lifting to give the movie some pizzazz. So, do I recommend They Came to Rob Las Vegas? On some levels, sure. The heist itself is fun, and the time capsule feels to it. Beyond that though, the pacing drags. A heist movie should be snappier than this. You know, something I've noticed lately is I've been talking a lot about running times in my reviews, and with good reason. Life is short, time is precious, and at 2 hours and 9 minutes, this movie overstays its welcome. A tight 90 minutes would have done the job. There's very little tension or momentum. The film spends ages setting up a convoluted plot that ultimately goes nowhere satisfying. You keep waiting for things to kick into gears and they just don't. I wasn't too hot on that ending where a few reveals land and you're like, that's it? And also Tony just loses it and it feels sudden and a little goofy. That said, the heist itself, the armored truck, which looks a bit like a pimped out Winnebago, is pretty cool. You get some nice flamethrower action, always a win, and a few fun shootouts with people flailing around in over-the-top dying fits. They just go for it. It has a great poster, a groovy soundtrack, and a cast of sub-hit stars. What it doesn't have is a solid script, and the tone can be all over the place. Overall, it's an okay Euro caper with a promising premise, set against the glitzy, dangerous backdrop of 1960s Las Vegas, but never quite capitalizes on it. Surprisingly, it still only has a DVD release from the Warner Archive collection from 15 years ago. It's definitely due for at least a Blu-ray, if not a 4K release. You can get an HD version, the one I watched through Apple TV, and you can also stream it on Plex. Both links will be in the description below. So this was my take on They Came to Rob Las Vegas. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. It helps get more visibility out there. Subscribe if you haven't. That helps too. Let me know your thoughts on They Came to Rob Las Vegas, and also tell me what is your favorite 60s heist movie. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll say to you, ciao, bye for now.
Who stated he'd drive to Las Vegas might turn in vehicle there. Yes, it checks out.